Hello and welcome to a new video gambit. Today we'll be discussing 3 things great about Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Let's begin.
Everything changes.
Now I know that there are a lot of videos, especially recently, about how great certain aspects of Avatar: The Last Airbender are, especially with its renewed popularity on Netflix. But today I'm going to be talking about what I believe to be the most underappreciated aspect of this series. Now, a lot of people already appreciate and love Iroh for his love of tea, his willingness to always listen and give advice from the depths of his wisdom and experience, and, of course, because of his lovely singing voice.
But the girls in the city, they look so pretty.
But honestly, Leaves from the Vine, that will bring tears to men's eyes. But what I want to talk about are some of the masterful writing techniques that were implemented in order to turn this would-be Fire Lord and General of the Fire Nation into the lovable old man that we know today. Number 1. Redemption. One of the things that separates Iroh from people like Ozai and Azula is his redemption. Some people, most of them in the show, are given an opportunity for redemption. Ty Lee joins the Kyoshi warriors. Mai finds that she is on Zuko's side no matter which side Zuko is on. And of course, the paragon of redemption himself, Zuko, who sides ultimately with the Avatar. But unlike Ozai, who is given numerous attempts to redeem himself from Aang, and Azula, who never actually has anybody try to redeem her, try to become the best version of herself that she can be, Iroh stands in a league all his own, mainly because his redemption was entirely his own and well before any other character was redeemed or given a chance to be. Iroh started out as the original successor to the Fire Lord's throne. He launched an entire 600-day war on Ba Sing Se. Who knows how many countless lives have been lost at this seasoned war veteran's hand. Consumed with duty and destiny, Iroh was determined to conquer Ba Sing Se at all costs. He was determined to win the war for the Fire Nation at all cost. That is until the cost became the life of his own son. Now, it doesn't excuse anything that he did previously, but what's funny is how willing we are to forgive him, and how compassionate we are towards him because of this life-changing event. But furthermore, the death of Lu Ten is what spurred Iroh to forget about destiny and duty, and to look more for the true and real and meaningful experiences in life, such as love and the dispensation of wisdom to younger generations so that way they don't repeat his same mistakes. Because besides from being given an opportunity to redeem himself, another aspect of Iroh that separates him entirely from Fire Lord Ozai and Azula is the fact that even prior to his redemption, he had redeeming qualities. He did not kill the last 2 dragons, the original firebenders. He respected all of the elements and the styles of bending unique to each, incorporating philosophies and practices from them into his own. He is also a benevolent uncle, undoing that stereotype that Shakespeare gave us where the uncle's the one that kills the main character's father and usurps the throne. Instead, that role is reserved for Ozai. So despite the fact that Iroh possibly killed immeasurable amounts of people and conquered miles and acres of land in the name of destiny and duty. Despite the fact that he was utterly hated by the Earth Kingdom for the 600-day siege of Ba Sing Se, to the point where they were treating him as a war criminal and were going to most likely execute him and even crush his hands with a boulder because of how dangerous he was. We feel for him. And we feel for him because... Number 2, the power of first impressions. When we first meet Iroh, we are introduced to a Yoda-like character, someone who's a doddering old fool, but seems to be more than meets the eye. And gradually, as the series progresses, we see that this doddering old fool personality is a facade that he put on to try and get away from that hardened war general, that Fire Lord consumed with destiny and duty. Because we find out as the series progresses and as his character gets to evolve that he is someone who, through his life experiences, has gained almost immeasurable amounts of wisdom. Wisdom that he gladly dispenses to anyone who will listen. We see that he is a force to be reckoned with, as he rightly earned the title, the Dragon of the West, because of specific techniques that he had invented and mastered, such as breathing fire from his mouth, something we only see from Fire Lord Ozai at the end of the series and from Azula after she has gone mad. Yet it is still a technique that caught both Azula and the Dai Li off guard. We see that he knows how to redirect lightning based on techniques learned from waterbenders. We see that he is a member of the White Lotus, something that was foreshadowed from the very beginning of the series and didn't even get capitalized on until the middle or the second half of Season 2, and something that was finally brought to a satisfying culmination with the reconquering of Ba Sing Se as the White Lotus helped Iroh fulfill his destiny of conquering Ba Sing Se, but not for the Fire Nation, but to reclaim it and give it back to the Earth Kingdom. If we were introduced to Iroh at any other point in his life, I feel that it probably wouldn't be as effective as when we're introduced to him in the beginning of the show. Someone who chose to be an outcast with his nephew, to try and raise him up so that he does not follow in his footsteps and make the same mistakes and doesn't wind up paying the same price that Lu Ten paid because of Iroh's decisions. We see someone who is overly optimistic, goofy, and just trying to bring out the best in people. Someone who is a good man, but just on the wrong side. And that leads me to our third point. Number 3, the ultimate foil. Now, you've probably heard about foils from other video essays where they talk about the villain usually being a foil for the protagonist, in the sense that you have the protagonist as a candle shining bright with all of their morals and values, that the villain then acts as a foil too, and a foil being something that goes behind the flame and reflects its light in a way that makes it shine brighter and in a more meaningful way. A villain usually accomplishes this by being the antithesis of the protagonist, both morally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, in any way that brings out the best qualities in a character and makes them shine all the more. Something that tests them, that tries them, that refines them, and ultimately turns that candle into a beacon that we all look to and seek to emulate. Iroh is the ultimate foil because whereas you can see obvious foils in the show, such as Ozai to Aang, Azula to Zuko, I struggled to find who Iroh was a foil to, or who was Iroh's foil. But then it dawned on me that there is not one person in this entire series, at least of the primary cast, that isn't negatively or positively affected by Iroh's actions and philosophies. Everybody is Iroh's foil, and Iroh is a foil to everybody. That is why I call him the ultimate foil, because either directly or indirectly, Iroh's teachings affect everybody. Through conversations he's had with Toph and Aang, through conversations other characters have had with Zuko, Iroh has touched them all. And in so doing, we get to see the contrast between each of these characters and the teachings and philosophies of Iroh. The biggest of these is obviously Zuko. But look at how Iroh helps Toph realize how much her friends actually care for her, and how this helps Toph trust Iroh and convince Team Avatar to trust him as well in the end of Season 2. Look at how his renewed compassionate nature has made him an outcast because of the teachings of the Fire Nation, and how it made him even more so hated by Ozai and Azula, as he was seen as weak, whereas in the end he showed the most resolve. Look at how vicariously through Zuko he affected Katara in order for her to understand that revenge isn't all it's cracked up to be. And sometimes what you long for the most isn't what you actually need. Iroh is the ultimate foil, and it is for these 3 reasons that I believe he is the best written character in the show. And also why I believe that as much as people appreciate him, I think they don't fully understand why they appreciate him. And that's because the writers of the show took such painstaking effort to put so much depth in even the most seemingly shallow of characters. Even when it's a wise old man who comes off as an optimistic old fool, who is all too often prone to optimism and womanizing, that knows how to touch your heart, whether you are a street thief encouraged to be better, or a viewer of the show just shedding tears at leaves from the vine. So I hope you all enjoyed this video gambit. Please be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment in the description below about your favorite Iroh moments, and please check out Plot Twist Entertainment and all other channels associated with it, and I will see you on my next video gambit. Thanks for watching.
Everything changes.